Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to From the Depths. You're currently looking at my new turret. This is the Seawiz turret that I have put on the pontoons, the platforms, the floats, whatever you want to call them. And these things are, well, they turned out to be a custom turret after all. It's a turret that sits fairly deep inside of this particular part of the hull. It has enough recoil to absorb all the potential recoil that it's going to get. It uses the same shells as the ones over here, albeit that these are 89mm and these are 88s. But these have a higher rate of fire at 604 rounds a minute, although I capped them at 600. These are at 484. The recoil with that means that these things are less, well, they have less recoil than these, but these have more power to absorb it. As you might be able to spot, I also have added munition warners so that they're capable of defending against any kind of munitions. And these are controlled by, on the one hand, the local weapon controller, and on the other side, at a higher priority, the anti-missile controller. So that anything that detects a missile is going to take priority control over these things. Now, allow me to demonstrate. These things have a nice rate of fire against missiles and other flying stuff. They're probably pretty decent, but when it comes to anything that has even a remote resemblance of armor, it's not that good. But it is nice to have these things both go off at the same time. And eventually you're going to start seeing a, well, probably a wall of flak go off as the shells run out of steam and eventually disappear. And there we go. There's the whole wall of flak. So that should give me a decent amount of defense against missiles. Should, because I haven't tested it yet. Speaking of testing, it looks like we have a new contender. It looks to be another one of those sail ships. What are you? You're a Greenfield. 130,230 materials. If I could cap it, great. But I currently don't have control over anything that looks like a harpoon. So we're just going to have to do it with the railgun. These guys are off. And let me stay in my seat. I'm just probably going to try and destroy this thing. I could use some more materials. I'm down to 85,000. And as I mentioned, there is still quite a bit that I want to build on this craft. It's getting better. It's getting bigger. But as we have seen in the previous episode, it's... well, it's not quite undergunned. But considering the threats that we're coming up against, I suppose we could do with something a little better. Let's see if I can knock off their sails. Nope, that was not their sails. Yeah, just a lot of broadsiding cannons over there. Let's see what those missiles are going to inflict. Because that could be some serious damage against that craft. As I sort of expect it to be mostly, there we go, made of wood. That was almost 170,000 in damage. Now, I really want to knock off your sails. Turn off the AI. If I could neutralize its maneuverability and then take it down, fantastic. Come on. Those two additional missiles, though, could give it quite a run for its money. And potentially blow up more than I would like. Yeah, that was quite a bit of devastation. Now, are you still interesting? Yeah, you're still 104,000 materials. Sorry, 105. You're still carrying 18,000? So yeah, if I could capture you, that'd be great. By the way, I'm not even sure if these sails are actually doing anything. These masts on this thing. Because they might just be aesthetics. They might just be there to give you the impression that it's something that you can target. Whereas, in fact, they're not that holy shit. Could you calm down? It's going to try and do that with the other side as well, isn't it? Jesus, it does look spectacular. I'll grant it that much. Look at him go. I just really don't want to be in the receiving end of that. Oh boy. Let's not use the zoom in feature anymore. Do we take damage from those broadsides, or are we okay? I think we're fine. Can we knock off that mast? Oh shit, what are you? Is that another one of those flyboys? Shooting star. Carrying 32,000 materials, worth 95. Again, I'm getting interrupted here. I love capture exercises, as you might be able to tell, but it's just a bit much currently. All of those new guns are going off. The small missiles from the ducklings are going off. And in the meanwhile, it's getting dark. On top of everything. What do you mean wrong weapon selected? Go on. Oh, you're low health. Okay, so you're toast. 200,000 damage done, 10,000 EMP, 43,000 impact damage, I think. Here it comes again. I don't think it's going to be particularly impressed with those weapons that I have installed. Because they're just... yeah, see? They're just lowly flak units. They're not really doing that much. Those missiles, those are the ones that actually have an impact. This one's still disintegrating. Look at the amount of fire that thing is attracting. 11,000 materials from that thing that I just sunk. Excellent. Can this railgun point up high enough? Probably not. Ooh, something struck you. Yeah, probably a missile. Knocking it down. The craft is too heavily damaged. So, all that remains is for us to pick up the stuff. Quite literally pick up the pieces, and there's 9,000 there. So when all of my weapons are going off, it is quite a show. But potentially little more than that. Yes, it looks nice, but it just doesn't really do that much. The amount of damage that we were able to inflict with those CIWS is, as expected, not that good, because they're there to defend against missiles, not so much shoot down anything that flies. Although, what I could do... let me slow this down. If I could develop a new shell for these 89s... that might allow them to be a bit more effective. Because I fully trust in these new weapons to keep me safe from missiles, especially with their exceptionally good clearance, at least currently. They should be able to defend me against missiles. So, let's say that I want to develop a new shell. This is the shell that they use currently, which is 3 gunpowders, a timed fuse, flak warhead, and a flak head. That's it. But let's say that I want to build something else. Or rather, that I want to fire something else. If that's the case, then let's see, what could we do with an 89? Give me 2 compartmizers, what the hell are those even? 2 adjusters. Sabo, maybe? Shaped charge. How about a thumper shell? Much like what's being fired from the railgun. It just has to have enough speed. That's the issue. So that would be a squash head. 688 meters per second. But they're actually 89s. Still 668. Range 3.5. Expected armor pierce? None. But that's not really the one that you should be looking at. Oh, sorry. It should be a hollow point head. And it should not be HE, it should be... what am I firing? Solids. So solid, solid, solid. And then an empty head. So hollow point. That would mean the shell's a bit faster. Expected thumb damage 553. Expected armor pierce 12.9. That's not good enough. We're going to need something a little better than that. What if I go for a solid nose? Like a heavy head. Just sheerly doing kinetic. Oh, this is ideal against softer targets. No, I need something against bigger, stronger targets. Armor piercing head. Expected armor pierce 23.4. Not good enough. I'm looking for 40 and better. I could go with the Sabo. Just 2 Sabos and an armor-piercing head. That would give me a pretty fast shell with a maximum range of about 5 kilometers, although I'm not really going to allow them to do just that. Expected armor pierce 42. Is the armor pierce head the best option for this? High velocity and armor piercing, medium kinetic damage, ideal against medium strong armor, and for most shells with penetration depth fused. They don't have that. If I go for Sabo, it's going to give me 64 armor pierce. Maybe just a Sabo shell like this. Because my ideal target, or at least my target that I'm currently thinking of, is the thing that just flew over. That really only the missiles were capable of doing anything against. Let's try this shell for a while. All the ammo intakes, I want you to use that one. Same here. So that's the Sabo. That means that you're no longer going to be controlled by the anti-missile system. This is the anti-missile cannon. I can just turn these things off. That way this thing should also be off. Not connected. And I can do the same thing here. So that eventually if I decide to switch them back, I only have to turn them back on and add the right shell. Alright, APS, clear the clips. And APS, clear the clips. So now it's going to be down to the local weapon controller to use these things. I'm going to tell them to engage at 2,000 meters or up to 2,000 meters. And at 2,000 meters, it only takes that shell 2 seconds to get to its destination. It's going to be really, really quick. Whether it's going to be doing enough damage, remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. High velocity and even higher armor penetration, lower kinetic damage than the AP head for use against extremely hard targets. Presence of this head sets HE, EMP, frag and flak damage to 25%. Could I go with one more, or is that going to be too much? No, it's going to be a little bit less. But it's also going to be slower. No, I don't want that. I like the speed, considering especially since we're dealing with aerial targets. Okay. Now, I just need somebody to use that shell against. Is there any resource harvesting zone nearby? Because any stuff that I can pick up along the way would be great. Here. 6.5k. It's not that much. But since I don't have anything better to do, I might as well head over there. And with those steam engines of mine, I'm still burning quite a lot of fuel or materials. And on top of that, the ammo that I'm switching is also taking up quite a bit of ammunition, or quite a bit of materials again. I'm still torn about the steam engines. Again, I still really like them. But they just continuously burn materials. They burn 9 materials per second. That's last over 5 seconds since recording started, about 6.7 per second. So that is 3,600 materials in an hour at this speed. If I want to go full speed, the stats are going to be far worse. There is an alternative, and that is using... what was the right term again? These. Large crank motors converts power to the rotation of connected large shafts. These things are not very expensive and would allow me to use the power that I currently have. And I have quite a bit of it. I just don't exactly know how much I'm charging. Yeah, look at that. 16 materials per second. It's the gearboxes. Those are the bad guys. Material gatherers don't require anything. The propellers don't require anything. So it's actually far, far, far worse. This is 30, 50... it's almost 70 per second. That's 42,000 per hour. Let's too much. Especially since capturing is starting to get less and less likely. I think that this is just way, way too much of an investment. Now, I could take off the gearboxes, these transmissions, or just set them to 1. That means that they will probably take a bit less. Is that correct? No, they're still at 16 per second. Alright. Oh. You're a target, aren't you? Okay, the steam engine overhaul is going to have to wait. Shoot first, ask questions later. Whoa! I just bounced off. Interesting. Look at that. Incoming shells? Noped. No joy. Let me zoom in a bit. It's a sailing unit of some make. Right. He bounced off again. 37k, that didn't bounce off. What are you, though? The Prowler. 87,000 materials and carrying another 90,000. It's very, very quickly burning through its material supply. $37,000. Yeah, I think parts are starting to fall off. Let's see if I can snipe that turret. Nope. Whoa! See whiz. Whenever you're ready. Show me. Oh, not a threat. And neutralized. Very good. There we go. 2 damaged. Now, you probably didn't feel like donating all that stuff, but I'm... Holy shit. Could you not? That was most of my detectors that got blown off. As I'm going to be doing an overhaul of the superstructure, maybe in a few episodes, I'm not really too concerned about all the damage that I'm doing to it right now. It will get repaired very quickly, and because of that, I'm not particularly interested in doing the overhaul now. I'm much more interested in doing the overhaul of the engine compartment. Because as it happens, that is a really large feeding machine. Or rather, a very hungry part of the ship. So, clear it all up. As long as it doesn't touch the deck, it should fall off eventually. But unfortunately, I built this thing so compact that almost all the parts are connected to the deck. Either the lower section or the upper section. Sorry, my dear pistons, my multiple expansion steam engine. It's time to say goodbye because it turned out while you were outputting a lot of power, you were also exceptionally hungry while doing it. Okay, that should do it. Remove these, remove these, remove this. Remove that. Why are you part of the hull? That's a mistake. Give me a 3-meter beam here. We need to patch that hole. There. Now, what I can do is still use the larger steam props if I connect them to the medium crank motor. I'm no longer burning materials. Let's see what happens if I accelerate. No, I'm not particularly quick. If I use all of my power, I'm doing 27 meters per second, 28 meters per second. But that's not something I can take on for a long period of time. It's not sustainable. Alright, cut speed. I want to see if those gearboxes are going to make a difference. Makes it possible for the output to change its rotation speed on demand. So, mirror. And these things might work entirely different than they do in Stormworks. But when you add a gearbox, it usually helps. Because it means that you're going to change speed from one thing into something else. And I know that sounds really vague, but what I mean is that the input could be spinning at, let's say, 5 rotations per second, and the output could be doing substantially more than that. It could be double. At least such is my hope. So I just set these things up to a gear ratio of 2. Maximum RPM for the output shaft is 300, and that over there is the output shaft. Oh. Hold on. Does this work at all, or does it not? Yeah, we're moving all right. Oh, it's the jet engines that are using, or that are causing the propulsion right now. Hold on a moment. I think that there's something either in front or behind front that's using a laser on us. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna need my propulsion. So I cannot have any of these gearbox shenanigans right now. If I use a large crank motor, is that... could I fit that? Steam. No, I don't need the manual. Yeah, but not right now. Hold on. I first need to fix... whatever the fuck is firing at me over there. That's definitely a laser system. A laser system, and we haven't dealt with those before. I haven't been shot at by lasers yet. Nor am I particularly interested in the experience at the moment. That shell's gonna slow down too much. Well... yeah. Look at that. We're getting scorched. Even the ducks are getting scorched. No. Fleet move, formation move. We full speed. We need to kill that thing, and we need to do it quickly. That's part of the hull gone. If I can hit him again, more or less in the same spot. Nope. I can whack that laser system right off. Come on. Hit. Hit. What are you called? Coulomb. 96,000 materials. Very well. Yes. That's part of the laser system gone. Do it again. Oh, looks like something hurt. AI dead. Excellent. Threat neutralized. And hopefully didn't do too much damage to my craft. No, we're at 100%. Looks like there is a need for some repairs. I made the ship quite a bit bigger, and I might not have put on all the laser warners and the smoke systems. No, it's alright. It's not too bad. I'm gonna put them on the pylons, though. Just to ensure that if I get attacked again by laser, which is pretty much a given, it's only going to be a matter of time, that I'll then have some protection for these weapon systems. So a laser warner there. Hello, Suez. Thank you for keeping me safe. Smoke dispenser. On the... oh! Something else out there in the distance. In control. Fire. And wham. Almost got the turret off. It's another one of those floating fortresses. Go on. Maybe. Anything interesting here? 15k. I'll happily take that. Whoa. I'm burning so much power with those electric motors of mine. That my ship cannot sustain that level of power usage. So if I want to do that, I'm going to have to add more RTGs. Which I'll gladly do, because I consider that... Well, I'd rather pay the RTGs once and have the perpetual use of them than continuously burn 42,000 materials an hour. Get rid of that. Thank you. Continuously burn 40,000 materials an hour just to get propulsion. Is this the only threat? Yeah, currently it is. Railgun, swing the other way. Thank you. Fire. Close. It's getting hit by missiles and it's really starting to hurt. It's down to 88%, a stalwart. 65,108 materials. They're not particularly expensive. Nor do I find them that dangerous with that new CWIS system of mine. That seems to be sufficient to deal with these things. We're still doing about, what? 17 meters per second. Okay. Let me get rid of this guy. Yeah, they're getting whacked. Let's see if I can get a nice picture of the guy. I'm sure he won't mind. There's more incoming cram shells. Oh, there's torpedoes here as well. I think. So, you got whatever's left of your turret on the top. Cram shells, definitely. This one doesn't appear to be operational at all. The bow one is. And the starboard one... I'm not sure if you're damaged or if I knocked off your detectors. Maybe that's why they're not accurately firing. Alright. Let's kill it. Need to come to starboard. Come on. Zoom in more before I shoot. Fortunately, the large missiles seem to have no problems whatsoever dealing with that thing. Okay, that whacked it. 2 damaged. You're toast. Anything interesting you leave behind? 5k. Not terribly impressed. What I want to do, by the way, is put some... Not a lot, just some repair units on these. Compact repair tentacles. So that they can repair either each other or assist me in case I ever need their assistance. Which I might. And if they want to repair themselves, they're free to do so. You got a couple of repair bots here. And over here. There you go. So now you can fix yourself up. Alright, I do want to save you again. Save vehicle. It's going to be the duckling. Save over duckling. Yes. Now just save my own progress because I did mess this up at some point. Yeah, that duckling is repaired. This duckling... this is the glorious. No. Build on this. V. Retrofit. I want you to be the Duckling Mark III. Here. Refit to Duckling Mark III. It's going to cost about 400 more materials. Retrofit. Hello? Do you have the stuff now? The self-repair items? Or not? You don't, for some reason. Okay, I'll add them manually. So there are your repair bots. And these. And the compact tentacles. They don't have to be identical. I mean, it's nice if I have them identical because it means I know exactly what they're going to do. They're interchangeable, but this will work. Alright. Well, a couple of units killed. Engines overhauled. The weapon systems still all doing okay. We had the weapon test for that new Seawiz and it appears to be doing quite well. I'm no longer burning a ton of materials. I could use another RTG. And if that's the only thing I'm going to be... If that is the only thing that I'm going to need to be investing in, that's fine. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We're looking a bit scorched, but we're still here. And I'll see you in the next episode.